Hi there everybody, my name is Kate and welcome to my channel, Trinergy Awakens Naturally. So let's talk coffee in a very metaphysical sense. We got a lot of stuff going on, so let's spill the metaphysical tea, the metaphysical coffee. If you are someone who is a craft type person and you have a very cultivated, extremely cultivated art of coffeeing, you are a barista of magnitude. In your world, coffee soup's important. It's so important from when you were a child and you love the taste and you just couldn't get enough, and I want more than this particular brand, I want more than this particular brand. And maybe by now you're a barista, you own your own place, but you went from starting with Sanka or something. That's your first entry, and you started on the low end of the entry of what coffee was, and you scaled that up into I want this over here. I want the craft coffee, the craft beer, the craft whatever, the specialty hybrid. I want that thing, whatever it is, to be my own special blend, and I want to know everything about it, so much so, 111, that I can cultivate beyond just the basic coffee experience. Not only am I having premium coffee, I'm having exclusive premium coffee because it's my design, and if I'm really all over it, I can make little fun designs in the cream and the froth and all of that as well. That's what kind of barista I am. Now imagine you've spent some amount of your lifetime, like a huge portion of it probably by this point, perfecting your craft, perfecting the tinkering here. I'll put a little of this in here. I'll work on the acidity. I'll do this. I'll do that. The full body, the roast, the overtones, if there are overtones in coffee. Whatever all the coffee jargon is, you know it because you're intimately connected with how I'm going to deconstruct that coffee process and reconstruct the coffee process the way that I want to put those components together. The components of Sanka are put together pretty rudimentary and pretty basic and in a pretty fundamental, ready-use way that dry-free just no longer satisfies me, or freeze-dried rather, no longer satisfies me. So much so I can't even remember the order of it anymore. Freeze-dried just isn't enough anymore. I could drink that, and in a pinch, I probably wouldn't even, because it's just so far beneath my barista standard that I really can't even make that a fake anymore. And as we continue to elevate our conscious awareness of our coffee drinking, then we are constructing and rebuilding out of that Sanka startup. That's how we entered the coffee experience, and yet it just wasn't enough at some point. We naturally grew to want more, or someone offered us, hey, have you ever had real coffee? Not that freeze-dried stuff. And you say, no. And so you find there, and then you say, the human spirit wants to find the most beautiful design for its own self, even in the coffee, especially in the coffee if we're a barista and we're all passionate about it. Now imagine the Sanka creator comes to you and says, but we found this way. We found this really easy, cheap way. And you say, precisely. I take my art very seriously. I don't cut corners, and I certainly don't freeze dry any product within me to put out there externally from me of my knowledge of how I'm going to articulate that freeze-dried mentality. This isn't about the coffee experience itself or the quality of one over the other. It's the process. So please don't get hung up if you drink freeze-dried coffee. It's okay. This is really about the illustration of, if I didn't care about the taste of coffee, Sanka's fine. However, when I do, I'm really going to want to have what I consider to be a better coffee experience. Now, that doesn't mean somebody on the Sanka, they have their preference of that intensity elsewhere. It's just that when we have preferences of intensity everywhere, that's usually called anxiety. When we have points of no passion about anything at all, then that's usually called depression, disconnection, dissociation, and disassociation from being a part of life. There's a varying degree in there, though, of everything in between those polarities because, or those two ends of the spectrum that really just don't seem very good. We're over here, completely anxious and trying to manage everything in the coffee experience, our life. And that's just tiring, wearing, and you can't possibly enjoy your coffee if you're always perfecting the taste of it, scrapping the formula, etc. They were always over here in the anxiety and managing and controlling, manipulating, etc., or feeling all of the need to, whether we express it or not. Then we're on that end of the coffee experience, or we're over here completely detached and disassociated from within our own body, and then disassociated sometimes as outcasts and from non-coffee groups, or from non-Sanka groups, or Sanka groups. We're cast out from groups everywhere, and we continue to keep bringing our coffee experiences to a Sanka group and say, hey, but I'm a barista, don't you know? And the Sanka master over there who's freeze-dried heavy, we don't need what you're offering here. It's a matter of the audience. It really is. It's a matter of people. Barista, please go find your spot where people want quality coffee that they consider the quality to be yours, and people that want quality coffee called Sanka experience and freeze-dried and instant, then go have the quality of that you want and match that up. Would it meet my standards? No, it would not. However, does it meet yours? If it is, then yes, and it doesn't matter either way, because it's none of my business. As long as I know that I'm meeting my coffee experience with coffee patrons and coffee friends and coffee baristas just like me, and that's fun. That's when we're fixing and designing and, oh, well, have you thought about this? Hey, throw a little bit of that. That's where the creative juices flow, is in our element with others. It flows the most. When we have to flow out of the opposition and say, oh, I'm here drinking Sanka. Don't you understand what you're doing here? Can't you see this is cheap? This is terrible, blah, blah, blah. Or worse, you put a froth on top of Sanka Instant and put a nice, beautiful design, and the person comes through and just picks up, I had a spoon right here a minute ago, picks up your beautiful design that you're trying to pretty up that instant stuff. They take it and just scoop it off and throw it and go, ooh, what's that? Get that off. The barista is offended by this point. What the actual hell did you just do to my creation to make it better than that terrible Sanka that you're drinking? Do you not understand your ignorance? Do you not understand that you are drinking lower, inferior quality? Meanwhile, Sanka bunch over there saying, why are you so uptight with all your coffee? You're certainly this, that, or the other. And both groups are correct, and both groups are incorrect. It's a matter of the pairing. If the pairing of Sanka and, deep brew or pour over or whatever, dark brew, embodied stuff that we know all the acidic details on and everything, if those don't interplay well, what's better? What's better for you? That's the whole point of empowerment and enlightenment, to reach sovereignty, not to just reach enlightenment and be able to meditate and reach a peaceful place. It's a matter of being able to take that peaceful place into unpeaceful places, or places where people are not at peace with themselves, and still be okay, not be rocked and say, oh, I guess I really should be, doing the coffee this way with them, or I'm trying to drink my beautiful cultured coffee in what I consider to be an uncultured spot, and I might have to adjust. If I'm sitting in that element, I may feel the need to adjust, make changes that are unnecessary if I just went over here to where do baristas belong? With other baristas, if they don't want to be driven crazy in a, a Waffle House or something, wondering why they can't get cultured coffee, why they can't get their unique, very unique and highly, studied, etc. coffee. Most baristas know I'm not going to walk into the Waffle House, nothing against the Waffle House, or a pancake place. I'm not going to walk into a place that is known for just, this level, period. Good, bad, or otherwise is whatever you assign to it, not me. I have people that love a certain place I can't stand, and I love a certain place they can't stand. I'm not going to eat dinner with them then if we can't come to a place we both can appreciate, because eating over there changes my standard, and stanking up on me calling it their low standard is not going to gain friendship. It's going to gain battle, and who's looking for that? Well, not me, because apparently a lot of people are. It's not me. But I'm going to be over here in battle points unnecessarily. If I'm over here and I allow, this standard to be set over here in barista land, or I try to co-share that space, well, unfortunately, it doesn't work if we're consistently battling. If you can sit with your cup of Sanka and I can sit with my, tight-ass cup of coffee, or whatever you might call that, your terrible Sanka. If we could sit there without all the judgment and the, none of my business, it's not my business. If we can sit there keeping our business right on what we're about, cultivating our own, and allowing people to sit there, unless you are forcing your opinion on me about how I should be doing something, we conceivably can find a space where we can mutually meet, where we can have a cup of cultured coffee and a cup of, freeze-dried, and enjoy them without making assumptions. The other person must be an idiot, they must be a this, they must be a that. Let people show up as themselves and assess as necessary. It's not a matter of convincing other people they're wrong or telling them that they should do something or not. And it damn sure isn't about convincing yourself that you're already wrong, that you don't fit in, or that you got to get them to fit in with you. All this manipulation of other people, cultivate your own cup, and if Sanka, I'm sure, has been cultivated 85,000 different ways of doing Sanka and cross-referencing it that direction. There's nothing wrong with anything if it's bringing you to a place, see, of peace, balance, and it's an overall positive step for you to reach your sovereignty and your own ability to stand in, yeah, this is my coffee, man. This is the milkshake I make in my yard, and live your life without the imposition of other people reaching into your barista experience and daring to show up in your coffee shop, your whole entire temple, talking some smack. And you got to go Jesus for a minute and kick them out and say, no, this is the barista area here. If you want to do freeze-dried, you got to be over there. We're in separate, places where we are experiencing this. And if we have a lot of those places where they don't really overlap well and they just turn into these battle points, that's whenever I see that coming, I just kind of divert it and say, yeah, wrong audience. And I'm going to go over here where my audience is and let you be in that audience over there. 11:22, doing whatever you do, because that's your right as a human being. I don't reach into your coffee world. And now I know that, oh yeah, I don't allow you to reach into mine. And whichever side, 11:33, you might be on that, I encourage you to figure out where your experience is with people. Find out, am I really over here perfecting this part, of my experience, 11:44, and this person really isn't, and they're not really seeing a deeper, nuanced, more cultured experience from their perspective, my perspective, the perspective, any perspective. Do we have more of a kaleidoscope on this, or are we just here in a real, this is where we are? And if we're with a this is where we are, either with our barista or our Sanka, it doesn't matter. That's a point of identifying where the blockage is, who it belongs to, and then step out with grace that, yeah, this is where I apparently can't hang with this. I'm going to need to go over here in my barista world and figure out why I'm feeling angry or bothered or pissy or whatever. And if it's something over there, wow, I'm going to go over here, and leave you to do your experience, because it's very different from mine, and I'm just needing to experience my world very differently in a way that I choose. I don't choose the same, but by all means, absolutely experience your world, enjoy your coffee, and have a beautiful life as you do. Take care. That's a very okay thing to do. Yeah, that's not what we're taught to do. We're taught to subvert, submit, and surrender on every level, to enjoy freeze-dried coffee if we don't want to be forced into, a whole $17 coffee, with a barista if we don't want to. It's how involved and complicated do you wish to be, or nuanced do you wish to be? It's really, a matter of time. It's a matter of perspective of, are you wanting that experience? And I'm going to cut this off because that dryer, there's no way to stop it when it's on that mode if I'm going to make that obnoxious noise, unless you open the door. So I'm going to do that now. Take care. I hope that is helpful for you in some way, and I hope that you enjoy your day, your coffee experience, your beverage, your liquid intake, whatever it is. I hope you enjoy it, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. And remember to get within your skin, because you're divine. It is so fine. It knows which way to direct your coffee experience just fine, because you already know. You're already in line. Take care, friends, as I said, and I'll see you again next time. Mwah. Bye-bye.